Let's start off with Google's offering, which at the moment is the Pixel 3a, but actually this phone is starting to be discontinued right now, and that's because we have been waiting forever for the Pixel 4a, which has been delayed a couple of times already, but it looks like it's getting really close. It has even been registered at the FCC, so it is coming very, very soon. Therefore, I would suggest maybe holding off getting a Pixel 3a right now, as the 4a is coming. It's tipped to be about $400 US. It looks like a really solid mid-range phone, good fast charging, a Snapdragon 730, not the best mid-range, not the worst, just really in the middle, and around $400, so going really head-to-head with the iPhone SE at that sort of price. So yeah, I kind of would wait for the Pixel 4a if you're looking for a mid-range phone and you're looking for a Pixel. Also, the Pixel 5 is supposed to be coming out, and that is actually also supposed to be a mid-range phone because it's using a mid-range chipset, albeit the new upgraded version. So there's definitely a couple of options when it comes to Google Pixels, and you may just want to wait a little while until they're released. Moving on from Google's offerings, we've got the Galaxy A51. I chose this one because it's one of the cheaper options in the list at around about $300 on Amazon. By the way, all the links to Amazon, I'll just put them in the description below because I know you come from a lot of different countries. Just click on the Amazon link, it will take you through to your country and you can have a look at all the prices. But when it comes to the A51, what I really like about this phone is a Samsung OLED panel, an AMOLED panel. Samsung make the best screens, no doubt about that. Even iPhone screens are made by Samsung. They're just fantastic, really great screen with a good design with that center hole punch. So it looks just like Samsung's more expensive phones. There aren't really any downsides to this phone that I can see. Everything is just very solid and good in the mid-range. You get a main and an ultra-wide camera, which is the best setup for me, and you even get a depth and a macro. Not massively useful, but they're there, and that's really there just to up the amount of cameras. In the Android world, you have to have more and compete on specs, but for the basis of the camera, a main and an ultra-wide, I think it does a good job. The processor in this phone definitely isn't the best. It's a 10 nanometer processor, so it does get beaten out by pretty much most of the others in this list. But for most people just looking for a fairly affordable phone that does the job, messages, goes on social media, and some gaming, it's gonna do the job very well. Not as powerful as some of the others though. Samsung have actually just released the A51 5G, and this takes the core of what the A51 is and then puts a better chipset, the Exynos 980, which is kind of slightly older now, but it is definitely better than the chipset in the A51, and you get 5G as well. This one I'm not sure about international availability. I'll put the link below to Amazon search to see if it is available in your country. Moving on to 300 or 350 on Amazon anyway is the Xiaomi Mi Note 10 Lite, and I really like this phone. It's got a lot going for it. This is one of the best designs I've ever seen in the mid-range. You get a curved OLED screen. You also get a massive battery with 30-watt fast charging, a 64 megapixel image sensor, which is a Sony IMX686. Pretty new image sensor and good quality as well. This is really just the epitome of what I would look for if I was going for a mid-range phone, which is just a really great premium design. The materials are really good, metal edges on the outside, a curved display. They have not cheaped out and gone for plastic or anything like that. It's a really premium design. You get a Snapdragon 730G, which is more than capable of doing pretty much anything you want. Even when it comes to gaming, it's not going to get beaten by the newer mid-range chipsets from Snapdragon. Even though they're slightly more powerful, they still can't do those high-end gaming options. So the 730G is for me still a solid mid-range chip. The iPhone SE 2020, the only iPhone I've got in here. To be honest, I did want to put some older iPhones in the list, but they are just still a little bit too expensive to be considered in a mid-range list. They're just $700. I think that's not really mid-range, so the iPhone SE 2020 makes the list. A rival to the SE 2020 though is definitely the Galaxy A71, a little bit more expensive, about $400. And this just is the A51, just a little bit better in pretty much every way in little increments. So you get a much better chipset, the Snapdragon 730, just like is found in the Xiaomi Mi Note 10 Lite. This is actually one of the most popular mid-range phones and one of the most popular Samsung phones. They actually sell a ton of these, and for good reason. It looks pretty much like their more expensive models, and on a day-to-day basis, you're not really going to know too much difference. Good AMOLED screen, center-mounted hole punch for that selfie camera. You can take photos in high megapixel mode, crop in a little bit. You're not going to have any issues, so not really a big deal that there's no zoom camera in this one. Moving on, and we got the Poco F2 Pro, and it does make the list because the price can be around about $500 more or less, which I guess is mid-range. But yeah, this isn't really a mid-range phone. You have a brand new flagship SoC in the Android world anyway, the Snapdragon 865. This has an amazing bezel-less display, really good AMOLED screen. The cameras are very decent as well. All in all, this is really the cheapest flagship phone, a Redmi device. It's definitely worth a look if you're looking for the most powerful phone at a good price. Really the best bang for your buck, flagship SoC, and more of a kind of mid-range price overall. It also has 5G, and that might be important for you if you're buying a phone for the next 2, 3, or even 4 years. Then buying a very powerful phone with 5G may be very important for you. And this is one of the cheapest ways to get a 5G phone right now outside of China. Another 5G phone that is available internationally though is the OnePlus 8. This one is expensive. It's like $700 or $800 depending where you get it. So definitely really expensive and maybe not even a mid-range phone. It really is more of a flagship phone, but I've included it in the list just to give you another 5G option. It uses a flagship SoC, it's got a flagship screen. The cameras, I guess you could say, between mid-range and flagship in terms of the quality. Really though, I would say the better option and more affordable, better value option is the OnePlus 7T. So you get a slightly older design, but you can pick it up for a pretty decent amount of money. And to be honest, I don't think the day-to-day use and the functionality of the OnePlus 8 is seriously above the OnePlus 7T. It is more premium with the design and it's more modern, but for the basis of a phone, the OnePlus 7T is definitely giving you a flagship type of experience with the processor, but at a slightly cheaper price. And to finish off the list, we have the Galaxy S10. This may be another option you want to look at. This can be got actually for a really good deal, around about $600 or so, maybe $650 if you buy it unlocked. But if you can get a good deal on this phone, this is still a flagship phone, but more of a mid-range price. It definitely is still expensive, but you get a good camera system. You get a really good AMOLED display on there, very premium features overall with fast charging and the design. This definitely isn't a mid-range phone, but with price offers, it's bringing the price to more of a mid-range territory. It's only a few $100 more than some of the mid-range options, but you get pretty much a flagship phone, so it might be worth looking at. It's always difficult choosing a mid-range phone because you have specific phones that are designed to be mid-range, but then if you look back, you can get some really good deals on some actual flagship phones that have come down in price that do give some better features overall. These are just some options between about $300 and $600, which I guess is considered mid-range these days. Let me know your thoughts. Put your favorite mid-range phones in the comments below. But that's it for this one. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one.